Hey everyone. Um, been holding off on saying this for a while because I'm going through a divorce. It's just sensitive information, but information that might be used against me in a court of law. Uh, but I don't mind confessing all my sins. Anybody asks me, unless they want to use it against me, I don't mind telling them things about my life, because I understand that the evil things that I've done, which everybody has done evil things at some point in their life. But one of the main things that I want to get across to people is that there's a God. And if there's a God, that means there's a Satan. And I'm going to say this, I'm not saying it's real. It's just a dream I had, but I had very vivid dreams of hell. And nobody wants to go there. The devil's a liar. A lot of people think that the devil and God is just government mind control and things like that, but it's not. It's all real. We are eternal spirits in a physical body. Now, if you haven't ever had an experience with God or the devil, that just means that you've been left alone, because many people have. There's not some grand scheme to trick you into thinking there's a God or a devil. They're all very real. And if you don't believe, then you take the responsibility on yourself. You think you're the reason why you've done all the evil things you've done. And I say that because I think there's going to be a lot of people that are afraid to get help for the problems that they have, and I think a lot of things are going to come out where people are going to have to admit the wrong things they've done, especially after all the indictments that come down. People in power are exposed. They're going to expose the ones that aren't in power, or they're going to threaten to. But the alternative is taking the country over with evil and just trying to make it okay to have sex with children. And that's never going to be okay. Even if the people that are doing it have the power, good will always come back. Even if you end up taking over society for a while, the good will always come back, and you will still end up with more consequences than you started with. Or Jesus will come. It's going to be one or the other, and that's more consequences. I'll repeat this again. Nobody wants to go to hell. Nobody nobody. So if you decide to take this country over with evil, try to make it okay to do evil things, then yeah, that'll work for a short time. But good will prevail. You will end up facing consequences worse than you would right now. Worse. Even if that means the destruction of the world. And I don't think anybody with children or grandchildren or I don't think anybody wants the world to end. I don't think they want that to happen. If you do, then you're definitely following Satan. I mean, it's not that complicated. People make it complicated. They don't love like they should, and they think that alright, because I'm ready for heaven, it's not gonna hurt me terribly to see my loved ones go to hell. That's not how it's gonna work. That's why we're all supposed to strive to get people to Jesus, because on Judgment Day, when we're all woken up, the people we could have helped, if they haven't been saved, if they don't know Jesus, then we'll watch them be judged and go to hell. And that's our fault, not theirs. It's because we weren't a good example. And that's going to be our judgment. But I'll say this again. Nobody wants to go to hell. Nobody wants to go to hell. If you've already decided you're going to hell, you want to change that decision. You don't want to go to hell. You don't want to go to hell. Hell's a terrible, terrible place. I had very, very vivid dreams about it. I just want to share. They're just dreams. I'm not saying they're true. I'm not saying I'm following my dreams or God's telling me what to do through my dreams. I just had dreams that informed me of a lot of things. Like COVID, Trump being president, things like that. I'll go ahead and tell you my experience of hell. I thought I was in heaven. Sitting around at my grandparents' house. My whole family's there. Sitting there on the couch, I'm like, oh, I must have made it to heaven. And everything was great. Everything was hunky-dory. Sitting there talking. Things seemed normal. Okay. And then they're still talking to me. At the time, I thought it was my grandparents, my wife's parents, and I'm like, okay, then we're just past all the time where they already made it to heaven. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, we're past the time, and everybody's already in heaven. Okay, and I'm just joining them now. That's what I was thinking. Then it started out small, the few bad remarks towards me and some cussing towards me. And their smiles went from normal to like halfway halfway up the side of their face. I'm like, that's not normal. It's not normal that they're cussing at me. It's not normal that they're calling me names. That's not normal. And then it's like I knew instinctually, especially after they started hitting me and stuff, I'm not in heaven. I'm not in heaven. It's like everything swapped once I realized I was in hell. They know your soul when you're in hell. So they know what you're thinking. Just like you know what they're thinking. But I'll get into that more as I continue. So, it swaps from that to Dark Dungeon. And when I say dark, I think the only reason I could see is because the Lord was letting me see. Okay? And it's like the parts I couldn't see, like there's only like a tunnel of light that I could see through. The parts I couldn't see, it felt like complete darkness all around me. It felt like I could feel the darkness. It was something else. I never experienced anything like that before. Anyway, I could see through the darkness that I was in a cage. It was like a prison cell. And I couldn't really talk or move or even think. And then I saw what looked like these reptilian things all around the cage. And I could tell that I knew, see, this is how I know that they could probably read my mind just like I could read theirs. I knew that they wanted to tear me apart. I knew that's what their desire was. They wanted to hurt me real bad. They wanted to tear me apart. They hated me. They hated my spirit. They just wanted to tear me open over and over again. They wanted to torture me in ways that I knew how they wanted to torture me. You see, it's not just a physical thing in hell. It's your soul. It's everything about you. And they attack every part of you, every part of your soul. So I knew they wanted to tear me apart, and they were about to do it. And the only reason they did it, and this wasn't easy, the only reason I woke up, I believe, at that point, because I woke up at that point, was because I remembered Jesus. And it wasn't like a normal, I can say I remember Jesus now, and I can think about Jesus and how he died on the cross. And how he is God. But I couldn't even think of his name. It was so difficult to even think of his name while I was down there, while I was there. I had dreams about it. Just describing very vivid dreams. Yeah, it was scary. So that's why I say nobody wants to go to hell. I don't care if somebody tells you there's no hell, there's no heaven, there is. If you have a hard time believing that, then call out to whoever you think created this world. Call out to him. Or if you think it's a her, call out to her. But I'm saying, you might get an answer if you really ask in faith. Okay? Now, if there's a hell and there's a heaven, that would indicate to me that the Bible's true. So I don't think it's a her, but I think God is what's depicted in the scriptures, and he always identifies as a male, and Jesus was a son, not a daughter, and yeah, there's just all throughout scriptures makes him out like a man, and I think that's why the world is also set up the way it is, where which I know it's not as much that way anymore, but well, if men have God-given authority from God, even if women try to take it away, it's not over their children or over their spouses. Their spouses let them. It's God-given. It's not. It's a natural thing. We, as humans, always try to fight against nature because we know what evil is, and we know what free will is, because that was the image of God, was free will. We wouldn't be created in his image if it wasn't for our free will to do good or evil. And I mean, we obviously had that choice in the garden. Adam was told not to eat the fruit, and Eve got that fruit and ate it, and gave it to Adam. Now, a lot of people think that's symbolic, but I'll say this again. I saw hell, so that's real. It means the devil's real. It means the reptilians that people have not only seen on this earth, but in hell, are real. A lot of people think that they are God, but they are literal demons from hell, and they're not God. They'll tell you they're God, though, if you interact with them. But they're not God, and they're evil. They might think they're God, because God has them under delusion, but they're not God. They're evil. Yeah, nobody wants to go to hell. Everybody needs to quit acting like children, quit having sex with children, and get the help they need so our children can be protected. I pray this happens in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. I say again before the end of the video, nobody wants to go to hell. Nobody. Alright, y'all have a blessed day. I'm gonna get to work. Video is free, just like every other video. Feel free to share and like. I do ministry, so I'm struggling really a lot right now. So any donation would be great. I'm doing what I know the Lord instructed me to do. Not through dreams, just by my example, living a godly life, telling people about Jesus, trying to make a living in a lowly way while I tell people about Jesus. And because I don't mind appearing foolish to people, I don't mind God using me for that, because He uses the foolish things of this world to bring down those that think they're high and mighty, because they're not. Nobody's better than anybody else. We're all made in the image of God. In fact, I would say those that have been challenged in life have more of an advantage on those that haven't, because they do more in their life, and they try to do more because they're more determined. So it's illogical to look at yourself better than anybody else. In fact, I think that people who struggle, whatever thing they might have, whatever thing they say they have, or a doctor says they have, even though a lot of times that's bullcrap too, it motivates them to do better. But how about we just all do better? God's not willing that any should perish, but all should come to repentance. To be honest, people, let's learn from our mistakes. Let's not go around as Christians and say that pedophiles deserve to die. Because, first off, that's murder. And that's God's. And secondly, if I was doing anything like that, and a bunch of people said they wanted to kill me, then I probably wouldn't want to be honest about it. And it's going to make more people rationalize in their head that the reason why they have to lie about it, the reason why they can't be honest, is because people are going to want to kill them. People are going to kill them. But that's not true. It's just not true. I've helped people stop doing things they shouldn't do, and I'm not going to get into who. But I was sexually abused from 11 to 15. The man that abused me was sexually abused when he was like 7. I personally will never abuse anybody. Don't have the desire. Don't have any twisted thoughts. The reason why is because I know where it comes from. And I know how to get it out. And all anybody has to do is come into true belief in the Lord Jesus Christ and pray to the Father through Him. And He will guide you to salvation. He will guide you to baptism. It'll be imprinted on your heart to get baptized after you pray and believe. So people don't explain it like that. People sit there with doctrine, and the Baptists are like, oh, you don't need to get baptized. And other churches are like, oh yeah, you do need to get baptized. And we focus on getting baptized or not getting baptized. And we need to focus more on people truly believing. If you don't truly believe, then you're going to blame yourself for everything you do wrong. And you won't have God to guide you into what to do right. So you'll keep doing wrong. See, I know where wrong comes from. I know where evil comes from. I've never I'll say this again. I have never had the desire to do anything with a child. And I know that is what happens a lot of times when somebody's sexually abused. But that's because they don't get the help they need. They don't watch their thoughts. They think that it's just a natural thing that happens to them because they were abused, which is also atheistic. Like, I love it how Christians will sit there and use atheistic logic. Like calling something mental illness instead of calling it evil spirit, right? It's because people don't like to hear evil spirit. People don't like that. Calling something natural that's unnatural, that obviously comes from the devil. The devil doesn't want people to know he's real. He wants you to blame yourself completely. But I had dreams of demons and evil spirits manipulating Christians and possessing other people to manipulate those Christians. But a lot of times, Christians keep an evil spirit on their back, and they think it's their own thoughts, and they feel terrible about it inside, and they don't express it because they're afraid of what people think about them. That ain't the church. That ain't the church. That isn't the way the church is supposed to run. That isn't the way it was ever supposed to run. It's not a popularity contest. It's not about who is better in the eyes of Jesus. It's about who follows him, who truly follows him. So let's get back to truly following Jesus. And let's make a way for people that need to be honest about things, to be honest. Not judge them, saying that we're going to kill them, that we're going to hang them, we're going to do all these terrible things. That is not God. That is not from God. That is actually, most likely, that is people that are actually doing the evil, seeing how others would react to it, to see if they need to be honest, or if they don't, because they'll be killed. I need to think about these things. Like you need to use wisdom before you speak. And to anybody out there watching, I imagine I have my own theories on how much we're monitored and not monitored. But oh no, we're not monitored. That's crazy talk, right? Like nobody watches us. Like oh yeah, our privacy is so protected. But anybody who might watch or is currently watching, there's a God. And if you help destroy the world, you will be judged for that very, very strongly. Not lightly. Not in a light way. In a strong way. And our Father loves us, but he'll spank us. He'll stick us in hell. He'll do these things because he loves us. It's just some people will never turn to him. Never try. But you don't have to be that person. The person next to you doesn't have to be that person. I still believe that this world is good and can be good if people would just turn to Jesus and get away from the evil that they don't don't even want to be a part of. And be honest about the evil that they are a part of. I hope people see this. I hope it's received well. Pray everybody has a blessed day. And I also want to say, so I can tag the video with negative things, so more people will watch, even people that don't like me. I did physical things with my wife of 10 years that I shouldn't have done. I should have left. I'm not going to get in. I'm not going to place any blame on her. I am responsible for the things that happened between me and my wife. Will say that my mother, who went through real abuse with her husband, who was bipolar, had Tourette's, my father. She doesn't think I have anything like what he has. I've actually talked to psychologists. They say I'm more unipolar. That means I'm more relaxed, more laid back. The reason why I should have left the situation is because it was a bad situation. Because she wasn't being honest with me. I don't think she ever will be honest with me. You can't stay in a situation. You can't love somebody if you don't have trust. Even if you love them to death, like even if you want to do everything for them, if they can't be honest with you, you can't trust them. If you trust them anyway, they will use you, hurt you, and drive you nuts. So, I'm going to label this video as I hit my wife. Okay? So lots of people watch. Let's see, we're 32 minutes in. Let's see if they watch all the way through, or if they don't. Y'all have a blessed day.